All right. Good morning. This is Tim. Let me see if I can get this thing. This thing is really in my face. All right. Good morning. We're going to call this Monday Motivation. I'm going to do my best to drop a video every Monday motivating people. And we're going to call it Monday Motivation. So, I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, getting unloaded. You probably can see my truck in the background back there. Brown, beautiful truck. My daughter calls it Goldie Brown. All right, so let's get to business. I was inspired to make a video today, and I think I'm going to title it A Call to All Forklift Drivers, or a plea to all forklift drivers. So, this is the thing. Forklift drivers, don't get mad at me because I'm a former forklift driver. In fact, my first career out of high school was, forklifts, operating forklifts. I worked on the docks at Old Dominion Freight Line in Atlanta. So, sorry about the sun glare. Let's see what I can do here. All right, so, as truck drivers, since I've become a truck driver, I've noticed how unmotivated forklift drivers are. And I use the word unmotivated because I used to be a forklift driver. I was once a very well-paid forklift driver, and I was once a very low-paid forklift driver. And I know the attitude of most forklift drivers in both situations. So, forklift drivers, I need y'all to understand one thing. When it comes to your career or your job as a forklift operator, you have to take it seriously. You have to take it seriously. Not just because the truck driver's waiting on you and, he's, all he got to do is hold the steering wheel anyway. That's what y'all think about truck drivers, is all we do is hold the steering wheel and sit down all day. That's far from the truth, okay? You want to get motivated as a forklift driver. Number one reason is for job security. Once you're motivated as a forklift driver, your superiors are going to see that. Once you are, and what I mean by motivated, when you have a job to do, you have a truck to unload, or you have a truck to load, trust me and believe me, whether there's a time constraint on that truck or not, the quicker you get that job done, the quicker you will move up in your career and in life. You might think there's nobody around watching you. Your manager could be out of town, your supervisor could be off that day, whatever. But there's mechanisms in place for people to time you when it comes to your loading and unloading these trucks. And I know that being a low-paid forklift driver is, your attitude is like, man, these people ain't paying me nothing anyway. I might as well just, take my time and, milk these couple trucks. That's one thing we used to do, is try to milk trucks. You know what I mean? And back then I was ignorant. I was a part of the problem. And what I didn't know is I was stifling my own career. Now, forklift drivers, y'all got to understand this. When you knock out a truck, whether you're loading it or unloading it, or you got some staging to do, and you got to take stuff from one part of the warehouse or one part of your yard and put it in another part. When you knocking stuff out, people will see that. People will see that. I had my old warehouse manager, Tim. He told me, hey man, you wouldn't believe it, but all these people care about here is getting the job done. If you get your job done in 2 hours and there's nothing else for you to do for the rest of the day, they won't haggle you because you did your job. But when you're just scuffling around and dragging along and getting a 1 hour, 2 hour job done, taking 4 hours to do it, they frown on that, and they will get rid of you for that. But, I've had a vice president tell me that, if I get my job done and he sees me just, pedaling around the warehouse, not doing nothing, and my job is done, he's not going to bother me. Hell, he might buy me lunch. We'll go out to lunch together. And what you guys don't realize, that's the attitude of a lot of people. And that is also the upper trajectory of getting where you need to be in your career, in your trucking, or not trucking, but in your forklift career. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is y'all sitting here working at, you might be at a little small warehouse, no name, or it might be a temp job, there's a lot of temp forklift jobs. But I'm gonna give y'all a secret, okay? But let me finish my thought first, and then I'll tell you the secret of how to move up in your forklift career. When you get a truck to unload, knock it out. Knock it out. Unload it. Get it where it needs to be. Do it safely, of course. Don't try to cut any corners. Do it safely. Do what you got to do, because forklift operation is very dangerous. Knock it out. Then go back to your superior, whether it's your manager, supervisor, lead man. Ask them for something else to do. Knock it out. Ask them for something else to do. Do it safely. Show up on time. Volunteer to stay late. It don't matter if you're making minimum wage. You do these things and you will get promoted. Whether it's to lead man, supervisor, you will get promoted. You might even go get put in the office for something else to do, because it's not about where you're at, it's about where you're going. And certain people in management positions will see, okay, John, I'm using John as an example. John, man, that guy has ambition. I'm about to, we're having a new position here in the office where I just need some data entry. Boom, there you go right there. That could be a new career. And just because you're on your forklift getting stuff done, doing your job without people telling you to do it, and doing it in a consistent, fast, safe way, you might just get promoted to the office. Whether it's for the same money or a little bit more money, guess what? You might get, if you get promoted or get moved to the office for data entry, that's a whole nother career that you do not have, or experience that you do not have. And you might not be the office type, but guess what? Try it out anyway. And let's say, it's not an office position. Your company might be expanding, and they might need a lead man or something. They might be opening another branch in another location. Like, you know what? John gets it done. We're going to make him there. We're going to make him warehouse manager. You know what I mean? And we're going to teach him how to, we're going to teach him the office side of this stuff, so that he could be able to do the office work and do the warehouse work, and make him warehouse manager. And boom, you done went from a minimum wage to, or, $10, $11 an hour, to maybe a salary position. Or if you don't want salary, you can negotiate this stuff. When you're a valuable forklift operator, or when you're a valuable professional, period, you can negotiate your rates. Just because they offer you something doesn't mean that you have to take it. When you know what you're worth, you can start negotiating, okay? So I say all that to say, look, truck drivers, we got somewhere to be. You know what I mean? Just like, everybody else, we don't just sit on our butts every day. We're out here trying to make a living. And for just as long as we're sitting at your warehouse or your yard or whatever, waiting on you to finish your text message, or to, get your mind right because you don't want to be here, it's Monday, blah, blah, blah. We're having somewhere else to be to make another load so that we can get our job done for the day safely. Now, we're trying to be safe as well. But if you're sitting there lollygagging, looking at the truck, trying to figure out whether you want to whether you love or like your job, or whether you, trying to figure out what you're going to do after work, we're sitting there waiting while our clock is ticking and we need to get going. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we got a load that has to be picked up at a certain time after you get done unloading us. And we've already made commitments with certain people, telling them, okay, I should be there by 11 o'clock or so, 11 a.m. and we get to your warehouse on time. A lot of times we get to your warehouses on time, expecting for you to unload us on time right away at a steady pace. So when you guys don't do that, y'all don't know. Y'all are holding up thousands of dollars a lot of times. And it's not just for that day when we're late at one place because of a disgruntled forklift driver. It snowballs. It snowballs for the rest of the week. So I just wanted to motivate you guys and let you guys know that, you know, get motivated, you know. And the secret that I wanted to tell y'all was there's some really good forklift jobs out here. Now, LTL means less than truckload. LTL carriers, what you guys need to start applying for as a forklift driver, as an experience, and sometimes very little experience. These LTL companies are always hiring. And it's not necessarily they have a high turnover rate. They just, you know, they're busy a lot of times. So I'm gonna give y'all some companies to go look for. If you're in the southeastern United States like I am, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, these companies are all over the country, by the way. I'll start with the best paying companies that I know off the top of my head. Old Dominion Freight Line. We're talking 25, 26, it might be $27 an hour right now in 2019, 2018. Old Dominion Freight Line, Google that. Okay. FedEx Freight, Google that. Averitt Express, Google that. AAA Cooper Transportation, that's AAA Cooper Transportation, Google that. Saya, SAIA, Saya Freight, Google that. Did I say Southeastern Transportation? Southeastern Transportation. YRC, Yellow, Holland. Who else, man? UPS Freight. That's another great paying one, and they're union. You know, that could be a good or bad thing depending on what your stance is on unions. Man, volunteer freight, or I can't think of their whole name, but there's a bunch of these companies, and guess what? These companies will hire you with 1 year forklift experience or less, and we're talking about sometimes we're talking about $15 to $18, $15 to $20 start off pay. Okay, and guess what? These companies, you can't be no sloucher. You can't be no sloucher. You know, they'll hire you, but if you try to pull that old warehouse stuff at these LTL companies, they're gonna get rid of you. You're gonna have to earn your pay. But guess what? You can make a good living at these companies that I just named. Did I say AAA Cooper Transportation? That's where I got my start at. And they will also, some of these companies I just named will also train you with their equipment and help you get your CDLs for free. Home every day, okay? Home every day. So this is your Monday motivation to all the forklift drivers out there. I'm not trying to come down on you guys, but I'm just trying to let y'all know that if you get motivated and you do your job, go home, it will pay off in the long run. And sometimes the long run is only a few months to a year, because people notice that. And once you get your forklift experience, about a year, go ahead and start filling out applications to these companies that I just named, these LTL companies. They're freight companies, the same companies that are hitting your dock, picking up some of the pallets that you guys have been wrapping and pulling all day. Those same companies. Ask those drivers, hey, are y'all hiring over there? Are they looking for forklift drivers? Thank me later, okay? Thank me later. This is your Monday motivation. This is Tim. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.